Good morning. Uncle Lou here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing good. College football playoff selection committee poll coming out Tuesday. Be prepared. The SEC haters will be out in full force this week, telling you how overrated the SEC is and how everyone's biased towards the SEC, and but keep in mind this first poll doesn't mean too much. There's still a lot of games left to be played, and there's going to be a lot more losses in the SEC, so no one should get too mad or too excited with this first poll here. My prediction on this first poll, I think you're going to see 2 SEC teams in the top 4. Could be 3, but I'm going to go with 2. I think you're going to see Mississippi State, Florida State, Alabama, Oregon in that order. So that puts 2 teams in. Of course, those 2 teams still have to play each other. Alabama, Mississippi State. Still lots of games left. The Egg Bowl, the Iron Bowl. Alabama has to play Mississippi State. So there's going to be more losses. Auburn, they could sneak in, but they still have to play Georgia and Alabama and a Mississippi school too. So lots of games left. Don't get too excited or too mad about what you see in this poll. But just be warned, the SEC haters will be out this week. Which, that's not breaking news. Seems like they're always out these days. But anyway. The lines came out today for next week's games. A couple of games of note here that I'll touch on real quick. First off, the Georgia-Florida game. This line came out with Georgia being an 11-point favorite. A little lower than what I thought. I thought it would be closer to 2 touchdowns, closer to 14 points, but it did come out with UGA at an 11-point favorite. I don't bet for money on Georgia games, but if you're a degenerate gambler and you're looking to make some money, I would take Georgia minus the 11. In fact, I would take Georgia up to 2 touchdowns, so 13.5. If it's at 11 now, if it goes to 12 or 13, which is what I think will happen, I think it's going to go higher as we get closer to the game. But if you can get it now at 11, or even at 12 or 13 or 13.5, I would take it. I don't bet on Georgia games for money, but yep. Now, Todd Gurley's reinstatement, we're still waiting to hear on this week. Now, I still expect him to be reinstated. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we hear tomorrow, but I do expect it to be announced this week that he's back. I don't think that'll have much of a effect on the line. If you remember when it was announced that he was suspended, Georgia was at the time a 3-point favorite over Missouri. Then Todd Gurley gets suspended. The line stayed at 3, so it had absolutely no impact at all on the betting line. So whether he plays or not this week should have no effect on the line either. My reasoning for thinking that the line will go up from 11 is that I just think that's too low of a number. But keep an eye on that. And the second game, which most of you are probably more excited about, because this is a more competitive game. The Georgia-Florida game, of course, is going to be a funeral and a massacre, too. But this game here might be competitive, and it's drawing a lot of interest here. I actually had some people message me this morning asking for an update on this game. But, yep, the Moral Victory Bowl, that line's been updated. Of course, if you don't know what the Moral Victory Bowl is, that's a you problem. You haven't been watching Uncle Lou videos every day like you're supposed to. So remedy that problem now. Watch Uncle Lou every day. Watching Uncle Lou will make you smarter and lower your cholesterol too. Get you off that Lipitor, which is killing you from the inside. But yeah, so Kentucky versus Arkansas this year in the Dollar General Moral Victory Bowl. Played live at Wrigley Field, home of the Cubs, the lovable losers. This game opened up with Tennessee being a 6-point favorite over Arkansas in the Moral Victory Bowl. Last week, that line dropped to 4 points. Big line movement this week. This game is now a pick'em. That's right. This game has become a pick'em for a couple of different reasons here. But Arkansas, they did play this weekend, but of course they didn't play an SEC team, so you don't even have to check the results. Yes, they won. Of course they did. They win every time they play someone that's not an SEC team. So yes, Arkansas did win. Of course, Tennessee lost to Alabama. It did get a little bit competitive in the second half of that game. Problem for Tennessee is Tennessee played at Arkansas and only won 14-13 in a game that they really should have lost. Arkansas outplayed them most of that game. Tennessee, this game was over in the first quarter. It was 27-0 before Butch Jones even knew which brick was brick, which was what. So it did get close towards the end. But I've been favoring Tennessee in this game all year. I've got to move the line down to a pick 'em now. It's anyone's guess who's going to win this game. Of course, we've still got several more weeks of the season left, so I expect this line to make some more movements as we go on through the end of the year here. And a quick note, I just want to let you know what you can look forward to hearing from the Tennessee fans for the rest of the year, or at least for this week. They have a new excuse they're using. Of course, they've been using the wait till next year and we play freshman excuse. But they now have a new one. They put some new quarterback in the second half of Alabama. Once the game was over and Alabama had basically stopped trying, Tennessee put some new quarterback in, and he, miraculously came back and scored about 20 points to make it a halfway decent game. So now the new line for Tennessee fans is, if we would have been starting Dobbs all year, we would have won this game or that game. I've heard Tennessee fans go so far as to say they would be 6-2 if they would have been starting this clown the whole year. Of course, we all know that's not true. They are who we thought they were. Uncle Lou told you before the season started that Tennessee was a 4-8 team. Well, that's pretty much what they look like to me still. Yep, so that's the excuse they're using this week, is Butch Jones should have been playing the Dobbs guy, and we would have beat Florida, and we would have beat Georgia, and blah, blah, blah. We'd be 6-2. I guess they're just assuming they still would have lost to Oklahoma, and they still would have lost to Alabama, but of course they would have beat everyone else that they lost to if the coach just would have played this other guy, blah, 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 blah. It's just more excuses to add to the pile. So, yep, Tennessee's still waiting for next year, just like they were last year and the year before that. They're just waiting and waiting. It's become a hobby for Tennessee fans. It's what they do for fun. They wait. So, yep. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Lots of great Hate Week videos coming for Florida this week. So stay tuned. Yep, but until next time, good morning and go Dogs, dude!